presence. What is presence? The word presence, what does that point towards? Presence is the awakened state. Presence is when there are no identification with thinking or with concepts. To the human ego, presence is undesirable. And that is because when you are in presence, the human ego is not there. The human ego has dissolved. So presence is you being aware without labeling anything, without any mental narrative, without trying to construct any idea about what is going on. You are simply just being present. The human ego does not understand that. The human ego is certain that if there are no interpretation, if there are no judging, if there are no labeling, if there are no narrative, no story about what it is observing, then the human ego is certain that everything will just be blank. But that is, of course, a huge misunderstanding. There is not many people talking about presence. And one of the reasons for that is that it is, of course, difficult, next to impossible to talk about. It is only possible to point towards presence. And we can talk about the obstacles to being in presence. But this misunderstanding that presence is somehow undesirable, that is a misunderstanding of cosmic proportions. Presence might be the most desirable in the universe. But even to talk about it as being something desirable might cause confusion. Because presence is not something that you gain. You are presence. So presence rediscovers itself in silence. And the reason why presence might be the most desirable in the universe is that in presence we come to see the unfathomable miracle of everything, of existence, of ourselves, without labeling anything. The human ego does not understand that. But presence is just simply you, being you. Presence itself is a miracle. In presence we acknowledge presence existence, the existence of presence, which is not a truly correct way to put it. But words are limited because presence is not something that comes into existence, because presence is always here. Presence can be seemingly covered up by noise, mental noise. So deepening the ability to be pure presence, that is essential. That takes us out of the mental noise, that takes us out of the human ego, that takes us out of the illusion and into reality. But the habits of the human mind, they are deep-seated. So in some sense we have to unlearn these habits. And these habits are constantly being reinforced in society, in social situations, because you will encounter almost only other egos. And that game, that game triggers your habits and has the ability to pull you out of presence. So how do we deepening this ability to stay present? Well, practice. Go out into nature. Meditation. Sit quiet in stillness. Fall in love with presence. Presence is love. But fall in love with presence. Fall in love with silence. Learn to understand which circumstances, which social circumstances is toxic, which social circumstances that triggers your own old habits. And yes, for most humans it is impossible to avoid all social circumstances. the work you do, the job you have. That is oftentimes one of the most toxic environments. Toxic in the way that they are often very stressful, and in stress all the habitual patterns are being triggered. I know that. I know that what needs to be done is both easy and difficult at the same time. But then you have to learn about the social situations that you find yourself within. And that could be work, friends, family. Learn about these situations and see if there is something that you can do to alter, to reduce the events that has the ability to trigger you. And if you find yourself in a situation where you are unable to change anything, well, then that is your practice. Then practice in those circumstances. Observe your own mind. Don't blame yourself. Don't judge yourself when you are triggered. It's just old habits. But if you know presence, and if you have discovered the freedom, the peace within presence, then you are willing to endure the learning process, the unlearning process of the habits of the human ego. But if you do not find presence to be something that you are interested in, then you will forever be captured by the human ego. We have to cultivate an interest in presence. And then some of you might say, but what is presence? Well, I cannot tell you with words. I have been trying. I've just been trying to tell you what presence is. But presence is this. Come, be present with me. Let go of the demand of knowing anything at this moment. Open your mind up. Be open. Be present. Be aware. The beauty of this is that it is free. It cannot be possessed. It doesn't matter if you are the richest man or woman in the world. You have no advantage. It doesn't matter if you haven't got any money. That is not a disadvantage. The most valuable in the entire universe, the ability to fall into presence, fall out of the mental noise and into presence. Presence is actually love. Presence is what you are longing for. The human ego is longing for a sense of belonging, for a sense of having arrived. But the human ego is searching for love, for belonging. It is searching for these things, which is not things. It is searching for this as if they were things that could be acquired. Searching, searching, searching. But love cannot be acquired. Love is something that reveals itself when you are letting go. When you fall into presence, being itself, being present. This is the trajectory that the human race is on. Nobody can tell you how long it will take. It actually does not matter. The only thing that matters is, are you present now? This is love, my friend. This is what we have been longing for. The human being for centuries. Relax. Let go. You will be okay. You will not only be okay, you will be... No words can describe it. You will be love. You will be love itself. You actually already are. It has just been covered up by noise. We are denoising the mind together. And we are becoming present. Aware. Thank you for being present with me. Now stay present, my friend. Denoise your mind. Thank you again.